Okay, let's just dive right into this, because we really need to talk about a fundamental truth of our digital lives that, honestly, most of us get completely wrong. Today, we're going to explore the science behind why you just can't stop scrolling, and I'm going to introduce a simple, really powerful system to take back control.
Now this right here, this is the crucial idea. It's not the video, or the article, or the meme that has you hooked. It's that tiny moment of suspense right before you click. Your brain is basically the subject of a massive, ongoing psychological experiment designed to hijack your reward system. And until you understand how it works, you are not the one in control. Simple as that.
So, let's get into the first big hurdle we all face, the justification. You know the one. We tell ourselves we're being productive, we're learning, we're catching up. But is that what's really happening?
Well, the hard truth is, for about 90% of us, that's just a lie we tell ourselves. It's a convenient story to mask what psychologists would call a classic addiction pattern. It's a form of escape behavior that keeps us feeling busy while we're actually just standing still.
And this brings us to what I call the dopamine trap of anticipation. Every thumbnail, every headline, every single video that starts playing on its own, it's all engineered to exploit this little quirk in our brains. That chemical rush, that little hit of dopamine that feels so good, isn't from the content itself. It's from the anticipation of what that next click might bring.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It shows you just how deep the manipulation goes. The psychological tricks at play are literally identical to the ones that power slot machines. Both systems use variable rewards, and this endless loop of anticipation to keep you glued, always thinking that the next pull, or the next click, is going to be the one that gives you that big payoff. So this brings us to a more uncomfortable truth. Once we understand the mechanism, we have to ask a tougher question. Why are we so easy to manipulate in the first place? So take a second, and I mean really think about this. The last time you fell down a 2-hour rabbit hole, what was the real-world task or feeling you were putting off? Because most of the time, we aren't scrolling because we're bored, we're scrolling to avoid something. This is what psychology calls escape behavior. It's a way to feel like you're doing something without actually doing anything productive at all. It gives you this temporary shield from the discomfort of that big project you haven't started, or that difficult conversation you need to have, or that dream you haven't chased.
And this is the great paradox, isn't it? We scroll to avoid the feeling that we're wasting our potential, but the scrolling itself becomes the very thing that wastes it. Admitting this to yourself is the absolute, non-negotiable first step. You have to acknowledge the real reason for the habit before you can even think about breaking it. Okay, so now that we've kind of diagnosed the problem, let's talk about the solution. And it's not about willpower, it's not about just trying harder, it's about a simple, elegant, science-backed strategy.
Welcome to friction theory. The core idea here is incredibly powerful. Even the most automatic, ingrained habits are actually surprisingly fragile. All you have to do is introduce a tiny bit of intentional resistance, a little bit of friction, to completely break the cycle. So here are 3 super simple ways to apply this right now. First, move the app. Don't leave it on your home screen. Bury it in a folder inside another folder. Make yourself hunt for it. Second, log out every single time. The simple act of having to type your password forces a moment of conscious decision. And third, kill the feed. Go into your settings and turn off autoplay and all recommendations. Take back control of what you see next. You see, the effect of these small changes is, well, it's profound. It shifts your behavior from something that happens on autopilot to a conscious, intentional choice. You're forcing your brain to pause and ask, wait, do I really want to do this right now?
And that leads us to an even bigger idea. If we want this change to actually stick, we have to stop thinking about discipline as some moment-to-moment battle of willpower. It's just not.
This is a total game changer. The most focused, productive, and disciplined people you know, they aren't superheroes with infinite willpower. They've just designed better systems. They create environments and rules that make the right choices the easy choices, removing the need for that daily struggle.
In psychology, this is called creating an implementation intention. Now that's a fancy term for a really simple concept. You make a decision once, so you don't have to make it 100 times later. You create a fixed plan, an if-then rule for your behavior that just runs automatically.
Here's a perfect example. The old struggle is constantly asking yourself, should I click on this recommended video? The new system is a simple, pre-decided rule.
I only watch what I specifically search for. That one decision eliminates thousands of future temptations and turns a constant battle into a quiet, effortless habit.
So as we bring this all together, I want you to reframe what we're actually trying to do here. This isn't just about spending a little less time on your phone.
It's so easy to think the problem is the app itself, that if you just delete it, poof, the problem is solved. But the app is just a tool. The real issue is the pattern of behavior that it enables.
So the ultimate goal here is to evolve. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with distraction. It's about building a version of yourself that has the systems in place to choose focus over escape, every time.
And you want to know the best part? When you successfully break that cycle of cheap, easy dopamine from scrolling, your brain goes through a kind of hard reset. It recalibrates. You actually start to find that same sense of satisfaction and reward in real-world accomplishments again. You know, finishing a project, having a great conversation, or just being present in the moment.
Which brings us to the final question. After everything we've talked about, are you ready to actually prove to yourself that you were the one in the driver's seat?
If the answer is yes, then here's my challenge to you. Don't just let the next video autoplay. Close this explainer right now. Stand up and go do one small thing you've been putting off. Just one. Then, if you decide to come back later, you'll know it's because you made a conscious choice, not because an algorithm nudged you into it. Prove you're in control. Start now.